In this season, we might be waiting on a blessing. In this season, we might require of the Lord to change the meaning of our name. Hey guys, welcome to another morning devotional with me, Theresa Robinson. This morning, I'm going to take you through a little bit of Jabez's story. And I don't know if any of you know Jabez's story, but Jabez was born in sorrow, right? Jabez, the name Jabez, basically says, because I bear him in sorrow. So it's First Chronicles chapter 4, and I'll read verse 9 and 10. So verse 9 says, and Jabez was more honorable than his brethren, and his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bear him with sorrow. And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, and that thine hand might be with me, and that thou wouldest keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me. And God granted him that which he requested. Now, a lot of times we are set in situations, we are born in a particular situation. We're born in a particular family, a family that might have been like Jabez, born in sorrow. His mother bare him in sorrow. She was going through whatever it is that she had to go through during that period or during that season of being conceived with Jabez and then giving birth to him in sorrow. Maybe he was born in pain. He was born in the turmoil of what was happening, the distress of what might have been happening in that city during that time. And so she called him Jabez. So the very name that he had, or the meaning of his name during his birth, is what caused him to live in sorrow. But guess what Jabez did? Jabez recognized that he was going through a particular situation, and he called upon the Lord. A lot of us say, God, Jabez's prayer to enlarge our territory, expand our borders. But do we understand what it is to ask that of the Lord and get the Lord's response, and what place we have to be in as well in order to get the Lord's response to when we say, Lord, enlarge my territory? As Jabez said, oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed. In this season, we might be waiting on a blessing. In this season, we might require of the Lord to change the meaning of our name. At the end of the day, the meaning of Jabez's name was changed, because the Jabez we know, based on reading scripture, is the Jabez whose borders were enlarged, whose territories were enlarged, who was blessed indeed. Even the song says, Lord, that you would bless me indeed, enlarge my territories. You know that song? So even that song asks or request of the Lord to expand our borders, to enlarge our borders, to expand our territories. But it takes a certain level of faith for the Lord to answer and bless us indeed, for the Lord to bring us to that place where the meaning of our name is now changed. All of us were born in a name or with a name, and there's a particular meaning to everybody's name. Maybe you need to research it or ask your parents why they call you that name and all of these things, right? So my name, Teresa, is a harvester, right? If I remember clearly when I researched it years ago, it's harvest. It means to harvest. And for me, one of the things that I had to recognize in harvesting, while I might not be a farmer, it's going out and getting, the souls for the kingdom. It's going out and helping others, reaping, that which is due unto me, right? Helping others to recognize their greatness as well. So the meaning that I have put to my name, Teresa, is really establishing what is to be in this world, right? Helping others to become the best version of themselves, helping others to identify even the very limitations that exist in their lives and stepping out of that limitation and stepping into greatness. So though my name, the meaning of my name was harvest, it means for me that I am harvesting. I'm pulling people into purpose. I'm helping individuals to come into alignment. Now, Jabez, let's go back to the scripture. Jabez's name, when he was born, he was born in sorrow. After the Lord did the answering of Jabez's prayer, that the scripture says, and God granted him that which he requested. The meaning of Jabez's name that we know now is probably Jabez the Great One. I don't know what you would classify him as, but I would classify him as Jabez, the man who God answers his prayer. or the one who is blessed of the Lord, because his story was changed. Right? And I want us to believe on the Lord this morning. I want us to extend our faith like Jabez did. I want us to move beyond the limitation that exists even in our very thoughts. You might be thinking that, God hasn't answered the last one, so maybe he's not going to pull through for this. That doubt in your mind is what is causing the limitation. And so I'm asking us to be like Jabez and ask the Lord to bless us. Ask the Lord to enlarge your borders. Ask the Lord to help you to break free from the sorrow that you were born in and change the very meaning of your name. Yes, you might hold the same name, but it will no longer have the same meaning. There are many points in scripture that we see individuals' name being changed. And in changing the name, it changed their story. But also there are individuals who would have kept the same name, but their story changed. And so the meaning of their name changed also. What is it that you are believing the Lord for? And what is it that you were born into that you know the Lord is able to take you out of? Jabez knew that God could have changed his story. And so he prayed to the Lord. Let me remind you what it says. And Jabez called on God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, and that thine hand might be with me, and that thou wouldest keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me." And God granted him that which he requested. Are you waiting on the Lord to grant your request? Are you believing in God the way that Jabez did? Jabez is not the only character in scripture that we see that prayed to the Lord and his request was granted immediately. Jabez is not the only character. You know, I spoke in one of our morning devotionals about Abraham's story. Right? Abraham believed. We spoke about so many other characters. You know, we go to church and we hear of them and we read the word and we see them there. Who are we believing in? And what are we believing for? Are you trusting in the Lord enough to bless you indeed? Are you trusting in the Lord enough to enlarge your borders? Are you trusting in the Lord enough that he will change your story? Even if it doesn't seem that way right now, I am currently trusting in the Lord for several things for him to shift certain things that's happening in my life. And I know that the God of Daniel, that the God of Moses, that the God of Isaac, that the God of Jacob, that the God of Israel is able to do it for you as he did it for them. The God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they stood in the fiery furnace. They were literally in the midst of the furnace that was turned up 10 times hotter than it usually was, because they decided that they were not going to bow to a king, but they were going to remain faithful to God. And while they were in that fire, the Bible tells us that not even the hair on their skin was burnt, and their garment when they came out did not smell like smoke. And so though you go through a particular situation now, are you believing God like Jabez did, so that he can grant you the desires of your heart? If you don't remember anything this morning, remember Jabez prayed and the Lord answered. And so you are able to pray today, and guess what? God will answer. Trust and believe. Have faith in what the Lord has promised, and watch him change the meaning of your name by changing your story. Be blessed today, and remember, join me again tomorrow for another devotional with me, Teresa Robinson. I'll see you in the next one.